Good evening, seekers of truth, architects of destiny, and weary warriors of the will. Look around you. Look at the state of the world. Look at the state of your own life. See the furrowed brows, the clenched fists, the desperate striving. Humanity is exhausted. We have been sold a lie, a brutal, exhausting, and ultimately futile lie. The lie is this, that life is a battlefield, and that to win, you must fight. You must fight for your goals, fight against your circumstances, fight against your enemies, and fight against your own perceived weaknesses. We are taught from childhood that the universe is a giant wrestling match, and only those who apply the most pressure, who resist the hardest, who strain against the ropes of fate with every ounce of their being, will ever taste victory. This is the doctrine of the will, and it has led us to a collective nervous breakdown. Tonight, we are going to discuss a concept so radical, so antithetical to everything we've been taught, that it has been actively suppressed, ridiculed, and hidden from the masses for centuries. It is a technique not of fighting, but of allowing. It is not a method of applying force, but of removing it. It is not a way to change reality by pushing against it, but by shifting your position within it. This is the law of non-resistance. And I warn you now, if you truly understand this, and more importantly, if you apply it, your world will shatter and rebuild itself in a way you cannot currently imagine. Let us begin by dismantling the great error. To do that, we must first understand the machinery of the human experience. We must map the three departments of the
This
mind.
estate is your total
Think
being.
of it as the anatomy of your consciousness. Imagine, if you will, a vast, magnificent estate. This estate is your total being. It has three distinct areas, each with a specific function. First, we have the subconscious mind. This is the power plant of the estate. It is the massive, throbbing generator in the basement, running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is a faithful, tireless, and utterly non-judgmental servant. It asks no questions. It has no opinion on morality. It does not care if the instructions it receives will lead to your salvation or your destruction. Its only function is to receive a command and execute it with perfect, literal precision. The subconscious mind is the seat of your autonomic functions, your heartbeat, your digestion, your breathing. It is also the storehouse of every memory, every habit, and every deeply ingrained belief you hold. It communicates through feeling, intuition, and symbolism. It does not understand the language of no. If you say, "I don't want to be poor," the subconscious mind hears poor. Be poor. It latches onto the image, the feeling of poverty. It is a servant that speaks in the language of emotion and in imagery, not logic and negation. If this power plant is filled with the fuel of fear, it generates more fearful situations. If it is filled with the fuel of faith, it generates circumstances that match that faith. Second, we have the conscious mind. This is the estate manager. It lives upstairs in the bright daylight of the senses. It is the reasoning mind, the part of you that reads books, analyzes data, makes plans, and interacts with the world of appearances. The conscious mind looks at the world as it appears to be. It is the seat of your five senses. And this is its critical weakness. It is easily deceived. It sees a storm cloud and believes the sun is gone forever. It sees a closed door and believes the path is blocked. The conscious mind deals with evidence. It trusts the report of the eyes and ears over the report of the heart. It is constantly reacting to the world of effects, mistaking them for causes. It sees a person lose their job and thinks that is the cause of their suffering, when the loss of a job is merely an effect of a deeper subconscious or superconscious pattern. The conscious mind, for all its brilliance, is prone to believing the lie of the immediate circumstance. Third, and most importantly, we have the superconscious mind. This is the architect who designed the estate. It is the realm of perfect ideas, of divine design, of the fourth dimension. The superconscious mind exists outside of time and space as we know it. It is the field of infinite potentialities, the Akashic records, the mind of God. Within this realm, every problem has already been solved. Every sickness has a perfect state of health. Every conflict has a perfect resolution. Every lack has a state of perfect abundance. This is a mind-bending concept for the conscious mind to grasp. The superconscious doesn't create solutions. It is the solution. It holds the blueprint for your highest good. It is the part of you that is connected to the infinite. It doesn't see the problem. It only sees the perfected state. It doesn't see the broken relationship. It sees the perfect harmony. It doesn't see the debt. It sees the circulation of universal supply. Now, with this map in mind, we can finally identify the great error that plagues humanity. The great error is this: humanity
This
attempts to
estate
use
is
the
your
conscious
total
mind,
being.
the reasoning, sense-bound manager, to bully the subconscious mind, the vast feeling power plant, into compliance. We try to force things to happen through sheer willpower. We stand in front of the mirror and clench our fists. I will get that promotion. I must make more money. I have to make this relationship work. This is the ego screaming at the universe. It is the estate manager trying to rewire the generator with a hammer. What happens when you try to force the subconscious? You create tension. You create a state of internal conflict. You are broadcasting a powerful emotional signal, but it is the signal of wanting, of lack, of desperation. And the subconscious, that faithful servant, receives that emotional signal and says, "The master is feeling a powerful sense of lack. My job is to manifest more of this feeling. I will create more circumstances that evoke this feeling of wanting." This is why you see people striving for wealth and sinking deeper into debt. They are so focused on the feeling of lacking money that the subconscious faithfully replicates that feeling through more debt. They are fighting for love, and in their desperate fight, they radiate an energy of neediness that repels the very love they seek. They are resisting sickness, and in their constant fear of illness, they invite it. The universe operates on a principle of reflection. What you resist persists. What you fight, you give power to. Think of it like this. If you are standing in a dark room and you see a terrifying shadow on the wall, what happens if you clench your fists and run towards it to attack it? You collide with the wall, you hurt yourself, and you prove to your mind that the shadow was a solid, dangerous enemy. You have reinforced its reality. But if you stand still, relax, and turn on the light, the shadow vanishes. It had no substance of its own. It was merely the absence of light. Your problems are shadows. They have no power except the power you give them by projecting your light of attention onto them. The enemy, whether it's a person, a circumstance, a fear, or a disease, only has power as long as you oppose it. The moment you cease to resist, you remove its only source of energy, your attention. This brings us to the core technique, non-resistance. I call it psychological jujitsu. In jujitsu, you don't meet your opponent's force with your own force. That would lead to a stalemate, a battle of strength. Instead, you yield. You move with the force. You accept its direction, and in doing so, you unbalance the opponent. You use their own energy to redirect them. The Bible gives us this radical teaching. Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him. This has been horribly misinterpreted as a teaching of cowardice or submission. It is nothing of the sort. It is a profound metaphysical instruction. Your adversary is not a person. It is the appearance of a problem. It is the negative circumstance that has manifested in your life. The teaching is this: do not fight the appearance. Do not resist the effect. Agree with it. Acknowledge its presence in the world of form without giving it emotional power. Say to it, "Yes, I see you there. You appear to be a mountain of debt. You appear to be a terminal illness. You appear to be a broken heart. I accept that this is the current report of my conscious senses." By doing this, you stop the bleeding. You stop feeding the shadow. You take your emotional energy, which was previously being drained by the fight, and you conserve it. You go from a state of reaction to a state of conscious observation. When you stop resisting, the negative situation, having nothing to push against, loses its momentum. It becomes a dead pattern, ready to collapse. It has been held in place solely by your attention to it. This is the principle behind the
This
phrase,
estate
"What
is
you
your
fear
total
most
being.
will come upon you." The fear is the resistance. The fear is you mentally and emotionally fighting a future event. That very act of fighting invites it into your experience. So, how do we translate this philosophy into a practical, repeatable technique that triggers spontaneous shifts in reality? The answer lies in a sacred, forgotten art: casting the burden. We have identified the three minds. We know the great error is trying to force things with the conscious mind. The solution is to bypass the conscious struggle entirely and hand the problem directly to the superconscious mind, where the solution already exists. This is not a passive wish. It is a deliberate, powerful act of transference. Here is how it is done. First, you must consciously, verbally, and emotionally declare your transfer. You sit quietly and you speak to the infinite intelligence within you. You might say something like, I now consciously and deliberately hand over this problem of financial lack, relationship, conflict, health concern to the superconscious mind. I recognize that this problem is an illusion of the conscious mind, a shadow without substance. I know that within the divine design, a perfect, harmonious, and just solution already exists. This is step one. But step two is the crucial part that most people miss. After you have spoken the words, you must feel the relief. You must experience, right there in your body, the sensation of the burden being lifted. Imagine a physical weight being taken off your shoulders. Feel a wave of peace wash over you. This feeling of relief is the key that unlocks the door. It is your emotional acceptance that the problem is no longer yours to solve. It is now in the hands of the architect. This feeling is the signal to the subconscious mind. Remember, the subconscious speaks the language of feeling. When you feel relief, you are telling the subconscious, the problem is gone. The resolution is at hand. And the subconscious, that faithful servant, will begin to align your reality with this new feeling of peace. This is the time lag. It is the period between the casting of the burden and the manifestation of the solution. In our three-dimensional world, it takes time for the fourth-dimensional blueprint to precipitate into physical form. During this time lag, your conscious mind will be severely tested. The old evidence will still be there. The bill will still be on the table. The doctor's report will still say the same thing. The person will still be acting coldly. Part V. Acting as if navigating the time lag. This is where the great battle of faith is won or lost. During the time lag, you must master the art of acting as if. You must live in the end result. You have cast the burden of debt. You have felt the relief of financial freedom. Now, for the next few days, you must act as if you are already wealthy. This does not mean going out and spending money you don't have. That's foolishness. It means adopting the consciousness of a wealthy person. A wealthy person does not obsess over every penny with a spirit of fear. A wealthy person knows that supply is infinite and flows freely. So you pay your bills with a sense of gratitude, not resentment. You look at the money leaving your hand and you say, "Thank you for going out into the world to bless others. I know it will return to me multiplied from unexpected sources." You see a beautiful car and instead of thinking, "I'll never afford that," you think, "That is a beautiful expression of abundance. I am glad abundance exists in my world." You have cast the burden of a broken relationship. You have felt the relief of perfect harmony. Now you must act as if
This
that
estate
harmony is
is your
already
total
restored.
being.
When you think of the person, do not dwell on the hurt, the betrayal, the argument. That is feeding the old shadow. Instead, mentally bless them. Wish them well. In your mind, see them happy and successful. Send them silent thoughts of love. This is not for them, it is for you. It is you aligning your consciousness with the harmonious solution held in the superconscious. By refusing to engage with the problem mentally, you leave the space clear for the solution to emerge. The other person, feeling the absence of your resistance, will unconsciously change their behavior towards you. You must ignore the external evidence. The external evidence is the past, crystallized, playing itself out. You are now living from the future, from the solution. You are not waiting for the problem to be solved so you can be happy. You are being happy now because the problem is already solved in a higher dimension. Your happiness now is the proof of your faith. It is the light you turn on to make the shadow disappear. Part V, the 7-day challenge, an invitation to the impossible. This brings me to the conclusion of our lecture and the beginning of your transformation. I am going to issue you a challenge. It is a challenge so simple that the conscious mind will scoff at it, and so profound that the superconscious mind will rejoice in it. I call it the 7-day challenge. Think of one thing in your life that seems impossible. One situation that has defied all your efforts, all your willpower, all your fighting. It is the thing that exhausts you just to think about. It is your enemy. For the next 7 days, I want you to apply the law of non-resistance to this one thing.